Okay, today we're going to be looking at a mythical beast, the lymph node. I say mythical because when we're looking in the body, I struggle to dissect them and find them, to demonstrate them to students, but honestly they do exist. Here I've got a section of a lymph node on a slide that's been stained. I haven't looked at it yet. I guess it's probably hematoxylin and eosin like most of them, but we're going to have a look at the lymph node under the microscope. The lymph node is a secondary lymphoid organ. It is an organ of the immune system. This is the immune system distributed around the body because we have lymph nodes throughout the body. So when we look inside the lymph node, we're going to see lots of lymphocytes. So let's have a look and see how that's arranged. Okay, let's see, what do we got? Looks quite nice. So lymph nodes can be a couple of millimeters to maybe say 20-25 millimeters in length. They're kind of bean shaped. We can already see how it's dark around the outside and lighter in the inside. We are already seeing a cortex and a medulla. So lymph nodes are arranged so that fluid is collected from the tissues of the body. Not all of the fluid goes back in the veins, but fluid is collected by lymphatic vessels. That fluid is lymph, or lymphatic fluid. The fluid passes through the lymphatic vessels to the lymph nodes, through the lymph nodes, and out through another lymphatic vessel, and eventually gets back to the cardiovascular system. So when we're looking at the microscopic anatomy of the lymph node, we should probably consider that flow. And we will. Okay. Where is it? Oh, wrong way. Yep, that looks like a lymph node. So we're seeing lots of cells. Most of these cells are lymphocytes, B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. We'll have macrophages and plasma cells and other cells of the immune system in here, and the afferent lymphatic vessels are bringing lymphatic fluid to the outside of the lymph node, which is what we're seeing there. We're seeing the capsule, and then the fluid will pass through the lymph node into the medulla, and yeah, we can see some structures in there, some tubes, which we'll talk about, but we will only see the vessels that are leaving the lymph node if we had a section that was going through the hilum of the lymph node. But the flow is from the periphery, the outside, into the middle of the lymph node and then out through some other vessels. Lymph nodes are very interesting to us because, not only because we need the immune system to survive in this environment with microorganisms that are constantly trying to attack us and invade us, but also because metastatic cancers that form in a tissue, say elsewhere in the body, can pass through lymphatic vessels and into a lymph node where they tend to get stuck, and then they grow, so lymph nodes become enlarged. Because we're looking at the cells of the immune system here, if an immune response is occurring, the lymphocytes will proliferate, so the lymph node will also enlarge in a normal response to an infection, right? Okay, so just to give you the lay of the land then, do we want to go all the way around? So around the outside we can see bubbles, so we're looking at fat cells, and then we can see a pretty good ring around the lymph nodes. So that's the capsule, that's dense connective tissue. Lymph nodes have got a good capsule. And then we can see some of that capsule extending in, so those are trabeculae, and around the outside we're seeing these follicles or nodules. So we're looking at the cortex of the lymph node there, and as we move in, where we're seeing high cell density but no follicles, that's paracortex, and as we move into the middle there, where we're seeing lots of spaces and kind of streaks of cells, those are the medullary cords and the medullary sinuses. There we're looking at the medulla, and we can see some vessels in there which we'll have to examine at a higher power. So that's the layout. Right, let's look at that Let's look at that capsule first, because there is a particular feature of the capsule we need to be aware of. So there we go, around the outside we're looking at the capsule, covered by other cells, and then deep to that capsule is a space. That is the subcapsular sinus. That is where the lymphatic fluid is coming into the lymph node. So often if there's a metastatic cancer, if there are cancer cells spreading from another organ into the lymph node, this is often where they'll get stuck. So this is where pathologists might be looking for metastatic disease. Those cells can also get further into the lymph node, but this is the first point of entry, and if they're big chunks, this is where they might get stuck. And you can see, okay, so I said that these are the follicles or the nodules in the cortex, and then between them we're seeing these spaces. And you can see a bit of stain there. This one over here is a little bit better, but there are spaces extending into the cortex. These are real spaces. The capsule that's pushing there into the cortex, that's a trabecular, so plural trabeculae. And the space around them is a trabecular sinus. So that fluid that comes into the outer edges, the subcapsular sinus of the lymph node, then passes in these sinuses and in towards the paracortex. And the paracortex has got some extra cool vessels in there. First of all, we should probably have a look at a nodule. And let me just bump up to a higher power so you can see the cells that we're looking at here. Very circular nuclei. So we're looking at lymphocytes, and we can see there's a different cell in there. Now we've got B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes throughout the lymph node. It's not easy with a standard stain like this. In fact, I think it's probably impossible, or certainly not safe, to identify a B lymphocyte from a T lymphocyte. If you want to identify exactly what cell type we're looking at here, we'd want to use immunohistochemistry to look at the proteins on the cell's surfaces, or maybe in situ hybridization to see the genes that they're producing. But in these follicles in the cortex, these are mostly made up of B lymphocytes. And as we move in towards the center, that looks different, right? We've got fewer cells now. So this is the germinal center. Now when we see a paler germinal center like this, this gets called a secondary follicle. This is essentially a follicle that is doing work. The B lymphocytes in the center here are proliferating and differentiating and becoming plasma cells, and the plasma cells are the ones that make loads of antibodies. So B cells are they're the cells that will recognize a specific antigen on the surface of an invading pathogen, and they might have a specific antibody in their memory, which this is the adaptive immune system, right? This is how you can then adapt very rapidly to a known pathogen, a pathogen that your body knows. So yeah, we've got B cells, and then B cells proliferating and differentiating in the centre there to become plasma cells, to chuck out loads of antibodies to fight against an infection. So when we look at a follicle, if we see a paler centre like that, that's the germinal centre. What do these look like? They look kind of similar. So you have a paler germinal centre and then a mantle zone around the outside. So we're seeing in the cortex, we're seeing these nodules or these follicles all the way around here. And then if we go in a little way, we're still in the cortex. This gets called the paracortex. So we don't see nodules, but we're seeing a high density of cells there. And now most of these cells are going to be T lymphocytes. But the other thing that we find in the paracortex are specialized blood vessels called high endothelial venules. Right, let me see if I can find a bog standard arteriole or a venule. See that there? That looks like a that looks like one of the lymphatic vessels, one of the afferent lymphatic vessels coming in, bringing lymph into the subscapular sinus there. Right. There's your... So we're in the fat, we're outside the lymph node now, we're looking at some blood vessels. There's your bog standard arteriole. We've got a few cells in the centre. The cells lining the inside of the tube are endothelial cells, and they're very flat. And then we have rings of smooth muscle around the outside, right? So very thin endothelial cells, normal tiny blood vessel. Now if we go into the paracortex, what I'm looking for are thicker endothelium. So we have tiny blood vessels entering the hilum of the lymph node and passing to the paracortex. And there are specialized regions of these blood vessels, these high endothelial venules, where the endothelial cells lining the inside of the tube, they're thicker, they're more cuboidal. And the specialization here is that lymphocytes can use these high endothelial venules to pass between the lymph node and the blood, because we have lymphocytes circulating around the body in the blood and passing through the lymphatic vessels. So the lymphocytes in the lymphatic vessels will pass in one direction back to the cardiovascular system up here, which can take quite a long time, or they can move between the blood and the lymph node in these high endothelial venules here. So the immune system is distributed around the body, and this is one of the ways in which it sends cells and therefore information around the body. So paracortex, high endothelial venules. Okay, let's go back out to the lowest power. And all right, so I said that out here in the cortex we've got these nodules, and these are mostly B cells. And then in the paracortex we've got mostly T cells and specialized vessels with high endothelial venules, so lymphocytes can move in and out. And I said that as we move from the cortex into the medulla, in the medulla we see fewer cells and more spaces, so we'll have a look at that in a moment and then we'll be done. But I just wanted to point out that I said that metastatic cancer cells can move in here and move into that subcapsular sinus, and I said that in a normal immune response the cells here can proliferate and the lymph node can enlarge. But if these B lymphocytes here were to proliferate in an uncontrolled manner, if they were to become a tumour, that would be a lymphoma. So the B lymphocytes in the lymph node itself, if they lost control of the regulation of their proliferation and started to form a tumour, that would be a lymphoma, which would be a cancer. Oh, and we see a lot of cells here, but it's not just a whole bunch of cells mushed in here. There is structure. We just can't see it with this stain. This is all supported by a reticular meshwork of reticular fibers, type 3 collagen. If we used a special stain, we'd see how this collagen was kind of making a network and was actually giving structure to the lymph node and supporting all of these cells. So reticular fibers. Of course, I'm not an immunologist. The immune system is really complicated, but I do love my collagens, so got to give a shout out to type 3 collagen here. All right, let me just show you that. So there we go, going from the cortex, you see those spaces, those are sinuses carrying lymphatic fluid in towards the medulla in the center, and as we go into the center of the medulla there, we're seeing spaces. So medullary sinuses, those will be filled with lymphatic fluid passing through the lymph node, and the cells there are now kind of forming streaks. So those are medullary rays, and we'll see B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes and macrophages and other bits and bobs here, cells of the immune system in general. So the medullary rays are just shapes of cells, and the medullary sinuses are just spaces between those cells. So you can see how anything passing within the lymphatic fluid is exposed to all of these cells of the immune system. Yeah, and we just can't see it in this plane of section, but that fluid is eventually going to make its way to the hilum of the lymph node and leave through efferent lymphatic vessels, which will probably pass to other groups of lymph nodes, and then other lymphatic vessels, and then eventually back into the blood. But there you go. How's that? So the lymph node is not a mythical beast like the haggis. It is a real structure within the body. This is where the immune system resides. The immune system itself often feels fairly imaginary at times, but it is vital. And we talked about how we've got a nice capsule, a subcapsular sinus where the fluid enters. We can see these trabeculae of the sinus, of the capsule pushing its way in, and the trabecular sinus carrying the fluid in. The cortex has got lots of nodules around the outside. Then we see the paracortex, and in the middle we see the medulla with medullary sinuses and medullary rays. That's the anatomy of the lymph node. That's the normal anatomy of the lymph node. Yeah. Okay. I think that just wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting it to be. That's quite straightforward. See you next week.